I'm working on some garden hurdles. I guess that's what you would call them. They're devices to stab into the ground in the garden, and where the flowers are laying down on the walkway, on the path, this holds the flowers back away from the path. My daughter's garden needs many of these. I'm using green wood that I've cut a couple days ago. This is Scotch broom, or it's French broom. It's a very strong wood, and it is invasive in Northern California here. Not a native plant, so a lot of places are removing these plants because they take over from the native plants. But I found a source in an area in the hills here locally where I can get all different sizes. You can see the different diameters that are available. I suspect something this big is probably maybe 50 years of growth. The growth rings are very close and hard to count. The first thing I do is to try to arrange on the floor here where I can look down on it and see, and I'll pick out pieces from my pile of this cutoffs. They're all different shapes and sizes and so on. So I'm trying to find a couple legs, posts that are about the right size, and then I start to locate these horizontal rungs, and I want to leave enough space here at the bottom that from the ground up to the first rail here, leave quite a bit of space there, so that's about the right distance. So I'm laying out some possible pieces that I can use for the 3 horizontal rails. And that's what I work with at first. Later on, there'll be another piece that goes in the center, a vertical post in the center, and then there are these diagonal braces that are attached. And I'm using a lot of deck screws. First of all, I'm creating mortise and tenon joints here. So I'm drilling 9/16 diameter sockets in these posts, and then I'm creating the tenons on the shaving horse back here. You see also I'm taking off the bark, and you can see the pile of bark in producing these 4 hurdles. So this will be the 5th hurdle. So the first stage is getting these 5 pieces organized. Every one of these is different, and there are no measurements involved here. I'm not trying to duplicate any particular size. So this is a smaller one. And the next thing I'll do then is I'll mark the length of these. These are through tenons. So I'll just, this is going to stay that length. And so I'll cut off these 2 and then begin to take the bark, remove the bark, create the taper for the foot, and then I'll drill the sockets and then begin to do the tenons on these horizontal bars and get those all fastened in. So I'll try to show all of these various major steps of doing something like this. All the pieces now have been debarked on the shaving horse, and I'm laying them into position here. I like to have them so that they sit down and rest, and that's where I want it to be. And so I've marked a triangle marking here so that I know that the lower bar is here and the middle bar is there and the upper bar is up there, and these will face me in the final position. That means that these tenons on the end here have to be, I don't want to, the hole's already drilled perpendicular, so I need to make this tenon and this tenon straighten these out, and this one will be straightened and so on. I've already made tenons on this bar up here, and those are through tenons. The way I do that tenon marking or making is I use this circle gauge and I put the 9/16 template over the end here, and I draw with a pencil. I just draw a circle, and then on the shaving horse I start to shave down to that marking, and I usually do right angles first, and then I make it an octagon, and then I'll go to a spoke shave to clean it up. And then I use a 9/16 inch wrench, just an open end wrench, 9/16, to check the diameter. So that's the way I do the fitting of the creation of the tenons. And that's the next step, to make the tenons on these two pieces here.